also a PhD student at the University of Limerick. So then WAI Tutorial is basically an online initiative which is organized by Women in AI, and it's under the education category of Women in AI, and it features a 15 minutes presentation on which experts give topics. They have tutorials relating to computer science from beginner to advanced levels. So the presentations usually run for about 15 to 20 minutes, and it's also sometimes demonstrates a small concept or a tool in its application. So Nabanita Roy leads the initiative with myself and Kathika as co-leads. And also the education lead has another wing, which is the Y practice link. And then it is co-led by Luciana and Meghana. If you'd like to participate in one of our upcoming tutorial sessions, you are free to do so. I'll just drop the speaker form in the chat box so you could fill it out. And also, so I'd like to just go ahead and introduce our speaker for today. She's Meghana, and she's a data science consultant at Accenture. She's passionate about utilizing novel scientific research to create data-driven solutions for complex business problems. Before that, she worked at IBM as a data scientist and technical lead. So Meghana has experience implementing machine learning models, executing data mining, feature engineering, and data visualization to extract key business insights. She's one of our key members in Women in AI, and she's a co-lead alongside Luciana in our Y Practice initiative. Also, she's been a tutor on one of our Y tutorial sessions in the past, so she's not very new to this. So I'd like to hand over and welcome Meghana to take over now.
Hi everyone, I'm Meghna. Nice to meet everyone and welcome to the tutorial. So like Na introduced me, I'm working at Accenture at the moment as a data science consultant, and I have almost 4 years experience working in the consulting industry with various different clients in different sectors, technology, banking, utilities, and so on. And I've used a ton of different technologies from Python, Java, and most recently Tableau. So that's what the tutorial today will be about. It's a beginner's journey into using Tableau, and just if you have never used Tableau before or have never heard of it, it's a great tool for starting off for data visualization. There's not too much previous coding experience required, and it's quite easy to use, as we'll see today. So I'll begin the tutorial. So let me just share my screen. All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Okay, so first thing, for anyone who has never heard of Tableau or never used it before, I'm just going to quickly show where you can download it from. So just Google Tableau and they have this site which you can go on, and you can try Tableau for free for a few days, as it does have few paid products, but we will be using the free one today. So I will show you how you can get that. So just going into the products, you can see all the different versions. I currently use Tableau Desktop in my day job right now, but this is a paid version, and we will be using Tableau Public today, which is just as good. The desktop version does have a few more fancy features, but Tableau Public is more than enough for a lot of the visualization tasks and like data analysis tasks. So just go ahead and click Tableau Public, go to Tableau Public, and you will see there's a download option here, and I've already downloaded it, so I'm not going to click on it again, but you can just click download, and it's very easy to install. Doesn't take too much time, just run through the installation process and it's ready to use. So once you have it installed, you'll see here this icon. This is the Tableau icon. You can just click on it and it should open up the Tableau Desktop Public Edition. And this is the first screen that you will see when you open up Tableau. On the left-hand side, you can see Connect. And this is basically where you connect your data source to Tableau. So all the data that you want to visualize or analyze, you use this section to connect it. And that brings me to the data which we're going to use today. So the engineer in me, I study engineering in college, and the engineer in me always likes to solve like real life problems in my whatever is currently happening in my life. And when I was preparing for this tutorial, my family and I were actually hosting a guest coming to Ireland for the first time, and we were thinking about all the spots we can, take them and like show them around. And that got me thinking, I wonder if there's a list of all the tourist attractions in Ireland that could be quite informative. Sorry, I'm just not able to see share screen. So I wanted to find a data set that had all these tourist attractions listed out in one place so that I can see their details and kind of like create a dashboard for someone like coming to Ireland, or a tourist aimed at like a tourist coming first time to Ireland to explore the country. So I went on to Ireland's open data portal. This is a great website. It has a lot of data here, and it's all public sector data in the open, and it's free to use. And I literally just looked up attractions, and it showed me that there is this data set here, which we will be using today, which consists of all the like collection of tourist attractions in Ireland. And I already have it downloaded, but I just want to show you guys. Basically, you just click download here, and you will have the CSV for you. Just going to minimize this part here. All right, so now that we have the data set that we want, let's see how we can connect it. So it's a CSV file, so we will use this text file option. Just click on it here, and I'm going to select attractions and have it open here. Once you have your data loaded in, this is what you will see on Tableau. So you're just going to click this arrow, and you can see a preview of all the data. So you can see the name of the attraction, if it has a website, the URL, the telephone, the longitude, latitude, address region, which is essentially the county name, and so on. And sometimes if your data is messy, you can use this option here called the data interpreter, which kind of cleans up your data for you. And it's a great feature because it saves you a lot of time. Because our data is already quite clean, like we can see the first row is all the column headers, and then all the values are where they should be. So we won't be using this, but I just wanted to highlight it. If anytime you have messy data, you can use that option. So now let's begin and think about visualizing this data. So you go to this option called go to worksheet, sheet 1, and this is where you create your visualizations. Now, this is the part where you have to start kind of thinking about, okay, what kind of story I want to tell my users, or what type of functionality I want my dashboard to have for my users. In our case, the user is a tourist or someone coming to Ireland for the first time to explore. When I'm a tourist, I usually love to see the map of the country of where I'm going, and it would be great if I can, pick and choose what part of the country has what attractions. So that's what I'm going to start off with here. So we can see this address region that we saw in the data source. This is kind of all the counties here of the attractions. So I'm going to use that to create a map of Ireland. So first thing, I'm just going to click on this arrow and give it a geographic role of state province. And you can see the symbol just changed, so it's a geographic field now. I'm just going to double click it, and it has already put itself in columns and rows. And then I go to this section called Show Me. And I can see it has a bunch of different suggested graphs, which I can choose from. Right now, a lot of them are grayed out because they don't apply to longitude and latitude fields, but we have option of choosing from these two. And I kind of like the look of this, so I'm going to go with this one. I also would love to color all my counties a different color so they're easy to see and they pop out a bit more to the user. So I'm just going to drag this address region field and put it into color. And there we go, we have color. It would also be nice to see all the county names because not everyone would know all the counties. So I'm just going to drag that, put it in label, and you can see that here. Now I'm just going to format the label, and I can see the text here and the font. I want it to be slightly smaller so I can see all the counties. Okay, sometime there we go. And I'm going to click on allow labels to overlap so that I can see each and every label, each and every county. So we have the map here, and we can see that, when we hover over it, it says the county name, but I would also like for our user to be able to see the number of attractions in each county. So the way we would do that is I'm just going to take this field address region, and I'm going to put it in tooltip. Tooltip is what contains the hover over detail section. So I'm going to go into what I put into tooltip, and I'm going to change it to a measure and say count. Now I can see the count and the county name. And I'm going to format it again, and I'm going to, instead of calling it address region, I'm going to call it county and give it space. And I'm going to say number of attractions. I'm going to say okay. Great. So we are starting to see a nice map of Ireland, different counties. When we hover over, we see the county name and the number of attractions there. Few little things. We can see Dublin and Wicklow are pretty much the same color. Now I would like to change that so nobody confuses themselves and thinks it is the same county but with different names, because it's not. So I'm going to go into color here, edit colors. I'm going to give Dublin a nice maybe blue. Okay, so I'm going to just say okay here. So that's a way, if you want to customize like which color goes where, you can do that literally by just going into color and just editing the colors. And now lastly, I'm going to call this sheet the map of Ireland. I'm going to make it nice and bold so it pops out, and I'm going to center align it. There we go. So that's our very first visualization. I would also like my user to be able to see the type of attraction. Now, if you're a tourist, sometimes you go to a different country, maybe because you love hiking there, or maybe you're really into history and you want to see all the historic monuments there. So I want to give my user the option to be able to pick what type of attraction they want to see in Ireland. And we can see here that there is a field called tags, which has a bunch of, basically type dedicated to each attraction. But it has few like different types for the same attraction. We are just going to use the very first one that it highlights. And to do that, we're going to go into analysis, and we're going to create a calculated field. I'm going to call this type, and I'm just going to use a simple function. So this area is where you can, in Tableau, allows you to use different functions to kind of manipulate your data to make analysis a bit more easier and visualization a bit more cleaner, or the way you want it. So I'm going to manipulate my data, and I'm going to use a function split for the tags field, where I can see the delimiter is the comma, and I kind of just want to use the first tag for simplicity reasons, really. I'm going to say okay. And I'm going to put this over here. And I want to see the number of each attractions for each type. So I'm just going to drag that, put that in text first, and then use this arrow to see the count. And there we go, we have it there. Now I'm going to use a different graph style to visualize this. So you can see now not as many graphs are grayed out. We have the pie chart, we have the bar graph, we have this, we have the bubbles. But I personally think the bar is more cleaner and easier to read in this situation. So we're going to go with the bar. And I'm going to use this. There we go. So we have this chart here now. So I'm going to just clean up the tooltip again. I'm going to say type of attraction. I'm going to say number of attractions. Okay, and there we go. We have it there. And let's call this sheet type of attractions. So let's give it a bold, Tableau bold, center align, and there we go. So that's our second visualization now. And I'm also going to clean up this axis. I'm going to say number of attractions. So I just double clicked on the axis, and this is where so sorry, I'm not able to see my full screen. Just 1 second. Oops. Let me just reshare it. Okay. And oh, sorry, I'm having an issue with the screen share. There we go. This is better. Okay, cool. So this is our second visualization done. And now I would like if the tourist or the user can see the details attached with each attraction, like the name. We can see we have like a URL field, telephone field. So if they want to like go ahead and book something on their website, how do they see all these details? So let's just create a very simple table that will show them these details. So we're just going to put the name, the attraction, its type, the telephone number, and the URL here, and the URL, sorry, in the text. Okay, we have it here. And this simple table pretty much tells us all the details, and I'm going to give it the name attraction details to make that capital as well. And make it bold because it would be nice and consistent with our other sheets. Center align it. Okay. So now we have created, 3 different types of visuals. We have a map, we have a bar graph, we have a table. How do we bring this all together to say our story to our users? So I'm going to create a dashboard now. So this symbol here is for creating a dashboard. Very first thing I'm going to do is change the size to automatic, so it's nice and big. And then I am going to use a nice heading for my dashboard. So first thing, I'm going to select a blank object to give a background for my heading. Now I'm going to click on this arrow here and change this to floating because the current default option is tiled. And what that means is Tableau, puts everything in the right place for you. But I prefer to use floating because it just gives me that flexibility to move whatever object the way I want, and where I want, and I can size it accordingly as well. So now we are making this dashboard for Irish tourists coming to Ireland. So I would love to use a bit of green here just because Ireland is famously known as the Emerald Isle. So might as well. And oh, I think there we go. So this is the undo button actually. If you've made a little mistake like I just did there, which was deleting the background, you can just click on undo and it's there for you again. Next, I'm going to add a bit of text to my background. I'm just going to say Irish tourist attraction. And I'm going to give it Tableau bold, going to make it bigger, bold, and make it white and center aligned. Okay, we can't see it because again, it's tiled, change it to floating, and we have it here. I'm going to resize it so that it fits perfectly. There we go. Okay, so now let's start bringing in our different visualization. First thing I'm going to bring in is our map, and I am going to zoom is coming in between. Okay, I'm going to make it floating as well, and I'm just going to put that here, and there we go. I'm going to delete this because I don't really need to see all the counties because I have them named here. Next, I'm going to bring in this type of attractions, and I am going to make it floating as well. And I'm going to put it right here. So should come up. There we go. Zoom is coming in the way again. Okay. And now I want another dashboard, which will show me all the details once our user clicks on it. So I'm just going to duplicate this one. And I'm going to delete this and this. I'm going to just put in our tables sheet, and I'm going to make it floating as well. And I'm going to make it quite big. Okay. And one thing to do here is when you click on this arrow, more options, you can fit it for the entire width, height, or entire view. I'm going to do fit width, and it takes up the whole space and makes it look better. I'm going to just resize this so the names are all visible. Perfect. So we have the details here. Now, how do we make it more interactive for our tourists? So I would love for the tourists to be able to click on each of these counties so they can see exactly what type of attractions are in that county. And then they can maybe click a button and go on to the exact details of the attractions in that county for the type they have selected. How do we do all this? Very first thing, I'm going to click on this. I'm going to use this visualization as a filter. And I'm going to click on this and also use this as a filter. What does that do? Now, when I click on Dublin, I can see just all the attraction types in Dublin. If I unclick it and click on Cork, I can see exactly all the attraction types in Cork. So that's one part of it. Now we want to be able to filter all that onto this dashboard as well. How do we do that? So this dashboard is using this sheet, and the filters is empty. But sheet one, sheet two and sheet one should have filters. So sheet one doesn't seem to, but let's look at sheet two. Let's apply this filter to worksheets, and I'm going to say selected worksheets. I'm going to say sheet 3. There you go. I'm going to go on this dashboard again, and okay, it does have uses filter, but okay, it's not coming up. That's fine. We have a filter applied to this, and now I'm going to add a button that will take our user pretty much to the next dashboard. So I just double clicked on navigation, and I'm just going to make it floating. And I'm going to place this button here. And here, I'm going to edit it. So I'm just going to say here, edit button. I'm going to call it checkout details. And we will keep it as bold, maybe reduce the size down to 10, give it a nice green. Background can be white, border can be green, and it should navigate to dashboard 2. I'm going to say that. Perfect. So now we have a button that's working, but what if our tourist goes to this dashboard and they want to go back? So we need a back button as well. We're just going to double click this, edit button. I'm going to say it should navigate back to this dashboard. Title can be go back. Can be Tableau bold, white. Background can be green, and yeah, no border. Let's click on apply. Oh, where did it go? And it's floating, so I'm going to make it floating. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to actually add a border so it's easier for our user to see. I'm going to give it a light green. Okay, perfect. So now coming back here, I'm just going to try one more thing. Use as filter. And why is this not filter coming up? Okay, that's fine. So now we have our dashboard somewhat ready. So let's see how, if we are a tourist, how would it work? I'm going to put it in presentation mode. So we have found this dashboard. We're coming to Ireland for the first time. Let's say I'm flying into Cork and I want to first see all the attractions in Cork. I'm going to go to Cork. I'm going to say, okay, well, I really like historic houses and castles and I would love to see them. I'm going to check out the details. And currently the filter for some reason didn't apply for the historic castles because it didn't show up in sheet 1. But we can see all the details here are for Cork. And that's great because now we can just clearly, filter down, see, okay, if I want to book something for this museum, I know what website to go to, I know what telephone to ring, and I can just go back, do the same for different counties. So that was probably a lot, and we are very close to the end time. So I'm going to start finishing up. That was kind of a very, very basic way of using Tableau. We've just created two visuals and been able to navigate it to a different table and like created a dashboard, putting everything together and creating a story. Tableau has a lot of features. So if I, for example, were working in the Irish government and they gave me this job of creating this fancy dashboard for the tourists, I would, start with this as a base, and then I would probably spend a lot more hours, adding a lot more graphs into it, manipulating the data a lot more, creating more dynamic features, and so on. But I hope this gave like all the beginners who are trying to get into Tableau, or who have like never heard of Tableau before, how you can use this tool to create like very easily like nice visuals and like put them all together in a dashboard to tell a story. That was kind of the main aim. I know Tableau Desktop has a few extra features, like you can connect to not just Excel files or other ones, but you can also connect to like data warehouses like AWS. I currently use Tableau to connect with Snowflake, and it's very easy to use. And that means everything, if the data is automatically being updated, it will automatically reflect in like the Tableau dashboard. Um, One thing to note in Tableau Public, you can see this icon here. This is how you saved Tableau Public. And you just have to sign in with the details you initially gave when registering for Tableau. And then, okay, it's saying an error occurred, but usually it would just, once you sign in, it would just publish your workbook onto the Tableau public server. So that was kind of the tutorial, guys. It was, I'm sure it was a lot of stuff to take in, but I tried to keep it as basic and simple as possible. And hopefully y'all learned something from it. But thanks everyone. And any questions, please do. Please